Dody, hi, how are you?
Good, Laura. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. It looks amazing where you are.
Yes, it's a beautiful day today. We're expecting some rain tomorrow, but today it's still nice. We've had a long summer. We
Very,
need
very
we need the
lucky.
rain. Yeah, thank you. It's
It's
beautiful here.
um it's pitch black where I am in the
Nighttime
UK.
already.
Already it's like it's winter. It's just really depressing.
Yeah, I know. I do like the fall though, the crisp evenings. I'm really looking forward to this cooler weather coming because I like to go outside as the sun starts to go down, but yet not be sleepy and ready for bed. Get
Yeah,
to have like a little fire pit going and sit outside and look at the stars. I like to do that in the fall. So I like the fall weather.
that sounds amazing. You might just have given me an idea.
Well, there you go.
So for everybody watching this, tell everybody your full name, whereabouts in the world you're based, and a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I am Dody Jones, and I am with Quantum Healing for Your Soul, and I am based in Arkansas, formerly California. I was born and raised in California and moved to Arkansas about a year and a half ago. So I'm new here, but I love it.
Absolutely. And so tell everybody how it is that you ended up where you are right now. Tell us your journey.
Okay. Well, getting to Arkansas is a story all in of itself. So I don't know if anybody is familiar with the California politics, but that was the reason why we left. And so we ended up in Arkansas. But my journey, as far as my awakening journey, actually started many, many years ago. If I were to think back about it, as far as with the medical community. So for many years, I haven't had trust with the medical community, and it started when my mother had become sick, and they gave her poisons and ended up killing her. And then when my youngest son, I have two boys, and when he was 3 years old, he became sick, and he had to have a colonoscopy. He had blood coming from his colon. And so they said, well, um, it's inflamed. They didn't find ulcers, but it could be this, it could be that. We can give him this toxic medication for this or this toxic medication for that. So we won't know until we get lab results back. So we can start him on this one. I'm like, well, what if it isn't this? What if it's this? And he's 3 years old, and these toxic medications, the side effects are cancer or death. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And I said, obviously it's something he's ingesting. So that was really the start of my journey as far as natural health and taking supplements. And so I've been on that path for about 18 years. And I joke and I say, I've studied natural health and herbal supplements for 18 years. I could be a naturopath already if I would have just gone to school and I could have had a degree already in that. But because I know so much. So that's been my journey as far as not trusting the medical community. So then, a couple of years ago when the pandemic hit, I already knew not to trust the medical community and who are these politicians telling me what's good for my body? I'm the one who should make that decision. And so that was that whole part of, I did really went through a lot of awakening during the pandemic when everything was shut down, searching for the truth on what they were trying to say we should do with our bodies, right? And putting these things in them. And so I started going down all these rabbit holes and started learning all of this stuff, things that I had no idea about. And it's really quite funny because when I was awakened to all this, I'm like, am I really awakened or am I just learning this stuff? And then I'm finding out, well, you're learning this stuff because you are waking up. And I'm open to receiving it. I'm like, okay, well, that makes total sense. So I guess I am awakened now because I know the truth. And so it's really funny when my husband was making the first move coming out here and I had all this free time back in California. I just started looking at all these different videos on BitChute and Rumble, things that couldn't be on YouTube. And I found this person in the disclosure community, as I'll call it. that I just found really quite fascinating. And he did this these videos I found with these people who had I don't know if they have equipment or what they use exactly. They're able to measure a person's frequency of love, compassion, integrity, things like that. And they can rate them, and they can tell you, how they rate as far as, all these different frequencies within the body. Well, they went through these two videos that I found where they were doing all these different alien races. And that like opened up my mind to all these other things that are out there. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like so fascinating. There are people on other planets. There are Pleiadians in the Pleiades, Sirens and things like that. And I was just taking all this in. And at that time, through this disclosure community, I found past life regression. And so that like opened up a whole nother can of worms. And then people, having experiences on other planets in their past life journey and stuff. So I was so fascinated by all this, right? So we make this move to Arkansas. We get all settled, and my husband's like, okay, you got to get a job. We're going to run out of savings here. You got to do something. Well, I thought I wanted to be a detox specialist because of all of my years of learning and detoxing my son, back to his story. So I never did put him on any medication. I just gave him natural anti-inflammatories and changed his diet and things like that. And I was able to keep him healthy. And he's 21 years old and playing football in college right now. So I think I did all right. So
Well
thank you.
done.
Thank you. So I'm like thinking, oh, I want to be a detox specialist. But these past life regressions, I was like, gosh, this is like so interesting. And I could do that. And so because of your searches that you do on the internet, you get these ads that pop up. And so this ad had popped up for QHHT. And they were having a special, and if you signed up before the end of the year, it was like 50% off or something like that. And I can remember, and the deadline was December 31st. It's December 31st, 21, and I'm like sitting there, and I've like closed my eyes, and I'm like asking the universe, is this something that I should be doing? And I get this, yes, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. So I mean, it took like a minute to make that decision. And so I signed up for it, and I did the course. It was all online. And I thought, oh, this is something I can do at home, on the internet. And then I find out you can't QHHT, you have to do in person. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not going to work. So I finished the course. I was so excited. I told my husband what I was doing, and that you can do all this healing for all these people, this potential of all this healing. And he's like, oh yeah, right. Don't tell me you're going to cure cancer. He's like, I don't believe that. And then off he goes. I was like, okay, so he's obviously very asleep told this. So I don't talk to him about aliens or anything like that. He's awake in every other category except past life regression and all of that. He's brainwashed and mind controlled by his religion. So I can't
Yeah.
discuss any of that with him, which is fine. We can coexist in the same household. We'll just have to watch what our topics of discussion are. So I asked him if I can practice on him. And so I go through the script, and from taking QHHT, you come off a cloud, right? So, and I ask him, what he sees or experiences, and then he's laying there and he opens his eyes and he says, am I supposed to see something? And so I was like, oh, then he proceeds to tell me when he was in college that he had to take a hypnosis class it was like a 16-hour thing, it was over a weekend, and that the instructor was unable to hypnotize him. He's very left brain. So I was like, okay, fine. Well, in the course of QHHT, they talked about this bag of tricks to help those people who are difficult. So I'm like, well, I can't afford to take another course because they say they teach it in level 2. I'm like, that's too expensive. I can't do that. Let me go on the internet and see what else I could find to help me with this difficult person. Well, then I found you. And I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
yeah, I know. I was like, Laura, so you're doing this entity release. I can remember I'm like watching it, and I was just like glued to the computer screen. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so cool. And then you got to where turn this dark, angry energy into this light being, and just the love and the compassion that came from you. I was just like, oh, I was like, I love her. I was like, I have got to do what she's doing. And then I watched another video of yours and you're talking about how you teach this course. And I was like, I have got to do it. I like paused the video. I went to your website and I signed up right then and there. And so I took your March course and I am like so happy that I did. I'm so happy that I found you because I just absolutely love this work and helping the people find what's wrong with their body and to heal
Yeah.
that and to remove the the entity, whether it be an AI or a demon or an earthbound, and then and plus all that emotional baggage. You've got this trapped emotion just various places all throughout the body, and to release that and to have your client sit up and go, wow, that was amazing. It's so cool. It's so rewarding. It just makes me feel so good. And
What?
my favorite part is the healing part.
Absolutely. What did you think when you saw the entity release part? Because obviously you go through this QHHT journey and you talk about the past life regression, but then when you found the entity release side, what did you think when you saw that?
That totally like clicked the light bulb on, right? It like totally made sense. It explains everything. It's hard to put it into words. It's just it made sense. Everything made sense.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
that's the answer. That's what's going on.
the missing piece. And
Exactly.
that's why we were told, oh, there's a certain amount of people that you can't hypnotize. We don't know why. And yeah,
Yeah.
there are some people that are very left brain, but you can
Yeah.
get everybody under hypnotherapy when you know what it is that makes them tick.
Hmm.
But the majority of the people that would be considered to be resistant clients aren't actually resistant clients. They have entities that's stopping them being able to visualize and that's
Yeah.
stopping them from being able to trust the process.
Yes.
So I think the entity release side of things, I mean, my passion is past life regression for sure. It's the most interesting, most phenomenal, most incredible career that anybody could ever go into,
Hmm.
ever. But when you bring the entity release into it as well, that happens at the front end, it then becomes this epic journey
Right.
that not only shows people who and what they are in other lifetimes, but also helps them heal this lifetime
Yeah.
and removes all of their energetic parasites as well, that trauma has magnetized towards them.
Yep.
And that's something that we're just not taught, isn't it?
Right.
And we're just not taught about that.
No.
And people that do talk about it, they make it sound like it's really, really scary.
Yes. Yeah.
And all of these horror movies they're portrayed in a certain way, so it's all very, very scary.
Right.
And so most people, even if they were considering it, would probably think, yeah, don't think I want to be a
I know.
demon slayer. Don't think I'm up for that.
Well, what's amazing is how many people say, "Oh, I don't have anything attached to me." I mean, I was like, me, I'm this loving person, go to church, that sort of thing, and how I have got this past experience of just being a good, wholesome person. How could I have anything attached to me? And boy, was I wrong. I was like
Every,
loaded with
yeah,
stuff.
everybody says that. And sometimes the nicer you are, the more you have. It's true
That is
because
so true.
these people that are so nice, they have to cope with so much trauma in
Hmm.
this world, in this dimension.
Yeah.
And they take it and they take it and they take it. And it fractures all of their energy centers because they're
Yeah.
such a pure and amazing light being, a light worker, a star being, bringing the energy of unconditional love into the earth realm, such high frequency people. But
Yeah.
because they're subjected to this toxic world, it fractures them. And then
Yeah.
these entities are just waiting. They're just waiting
Yeah.
in the wings to attach. You get somebody that is such a beautiful person that would never ever want to say anything nasty to anybody or defend themselves in a nasty way for fear of upsetting somebody else because they're a
Hmm.
heart centered being. In this realm, obviously, that will attract somebody that will dominate you
Hmm.
because they see you as weak. because they
Right.
can't understand why anybody would be that beautiful and loving. So then, once you're dominated, that fractures the throat, that attracts the demon.
Yeah.
And then obviously, then at some point, you can end up defending yourself because the demon will hop in and take over.
Yes.
And that's how really, really nice people get these things. And the amount of people that I have seen over the years that have said to me, well, you're not going to find anything on me today. I am such a high frequency being. I'm
I have,
so high frequency.
I know, I have found that the people that the lighter they are, the more they have.
Yeah, for
That's what
sure.
I have discovered. And it's a lot of AI.
And those people are targeted because
Yes.
they're high vibration. There are
Right.
certain alarm bells. I can't think of a better way to describe it than that in this reality. So when a certain person vibrates to a certain level, singularly, so not as a collective, but singularly, it will attract these patrollers in this reality that will then tag them. They'll put
Yeah.
something in them that will bring the vibration straight the way down. And if
Yeah.
they can't get it in organically, because all of that person's energy centers are absolutely fabulous, there's no fractures, they're happy as anything, then they'll put some AI in there and get in that way. They'll
Yeah.
cause an imbalance, so
Yeah.
everything stops working correctly,
Yep.
and then they'll be able to get the organic stuff in.
Yes.
This reality is crazy.
Yes.
And if humans actually understood what was going on, we wouldn't be able to function in the way that we do.
Oh, I know.
Or it would make so much sense to
Right.
people why certain people in their family are so cold,
Yeah.
so unfeeling, so callous,
I
or
know.
they
I
come alive and all of a sudden start getting vicious when they drink.
yes, yes, I know. And I see that. I know so many people in my, little world because I'm the only awakened one here. I have a friend that is partially, I keep sending her stuff. And so she's like, I mean, at first she's like, I don't know if I believe that. But I keep sending her stuff. And so she's almost there. But and I know, and I've asked her, I told her, I said, I'd love to do a session for you. And she said she would, but she has all these excuses as to why she can't do a session with me. And those are the entities
For
speaking.
sure.
And I
Yeah.
just know I have a lot of people that, I'm close to that I know they have entities. And with my son, I did him, he's like my husband, doesn't believe in what I'm doing. My husband told me, he said to him, before he went back off to college, that he thinks I'm doing witchcraft. But it's like, okay,
I get that
whatever.
as well. I get
Yeah,
that as
so
well.
I
Yeah.
did a session on him, and he couldn't, he wasn't able to interpret the voices, the thoughts. I said, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, after I asked this question, whatnot? And he's like, nothing, nothing, nothing. Well, I went through to remove stuff because I know he's got something in his throat because he is the type of person who won't speak up. He holds himself back. He knows, he should say something to somebody, that's trying to be dominating to him on his team or in class or whatever is going on in his personal life. And he's always allowed people to dominate over him. He's always held himself back and not speak up. So I know he's got something around his throat. And so I went through the whole thing and told him, I know you're there. You do not have permission to be there. And went through the whole thing of removing this entity in his throat. And he told me afterward that while I was working on his throat, he can feel a sensation going on there. I said, see, it's true. It works.
Yeah.
So, and since then, he was doing much better as far as speaking up and not being afraid to talk to somebody, and he's doing really quite well. So things are. I'd like to do more on him. I didn't have a chance to when he was home for the summer. He was too busy, and I was busy getting all my practice sessions done at that time. And so between me being busy and him being busy and him finding an excuse not to go through a session, I wasn't able to get one done with him. But I definitely want to do another one on him. And then my husband. I think he's got two that I think are named Fred and Charlie. I've got names for them. Those were intuitively, that's what came in. And so sometimes I'm just looking over and I'm speaking to him telepathically, like, hey, you better calm down, dude. And I'll call in the angels and so I do not consent to any negative energies anywhere near around my home, and I have Archangel Michael place a pyramid of protection around my home, and it really calms them down. So they haven't reared their ugly heads in a very long time, and if they do start to amp up a little bit, I just bring in the angels and white light and calm the sea, and it really helps. So someday, hopefully, he'll let me do a session on him if I can just have him, explain how the process works, and the first thought that comes into your mind, speak what that is. Hopefully, we can get this thing removed, or these two beings that
Yeah.
are in there. Yeah.
And that's the thing with this modality. We will only ever do it on people that have given us their free will consent,
Yeah.
because that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a free will reality. It's a free will realm. We cannot take somebody else's free will away from them, because you might be taking their journey away from them. They
Yeah.
might be having to carry these entities for a reason. And I have heard that before in session, where
Isn't
they've
that
said,
interesting?
yeah, where they've said we've taken the majority off them today, but there is one that they've still got to carry for a little bit longer. There's a
Mm.
reason for that. It's attached to a particular energy center, and they need a little bit longer carrying this demon in that energy center to build up their own confidence.
Wow.
Because when we remove this demon, if we don't build up their confidence, we take it off today, they're going to crash and burn, they're going to fall.
Oh, interesting.
So it becomes like a symbiotic relationship. So people that
Yeah.
will have a demon in the solar plexus, that's all to do with self-esteem and, the sense of self. But
Hmm.
that individual needs to begin to step into their own power before you take that demon away, because the
Right.
demon gives the person an edge.
Isn't that amazing?
It's strange how it
So it's
works.
that's just part of their journey.
Yeah, and they think, oh, I've got this other part of myself that if I'm really, really pushed, someone really pushes me in a corner, I can stand up for myself. But actually, that other part of themselves that they think is a part of them is the demon.
Yeah.
So you've got to psychologically work with that client a little bit longer to give
Right.
them some coping techniques so that they can stand up for themselves when you remove that demon. So some of this stuff it's quite complex, and it's always got to be the free will choice of the client. So
Right.
I'll often get people contacting me saying, "Can you do a session with my son? How old's your son?" "He's 25. Why is it that your son's not contacting me himself?" "Oh, there's no way he'd contact you. God, I couldn't tell him that I was talking to you about this." "So he doesn't consent then? He doesn't know?" "Oh, no, no, he doesn't know." "Well, I'm sorry, I can't do it now." You know, we have to have the free will
Yeah.
consent of the individual. So there will come a point when your husband turns around to you one day and goes, "So, this stuff that you've been doing, what's it all about? And can I have a session?"
Yeah. It'll come someday. I know it will. I
It
know it
will.
will.
It will.
Yeah. I need to do my older son too. I haven't approached him on it. He lives in Pennsylvania, so I haven't approached him about it. But I know he definitely could use a session as well.
Everybody can.
Yeah.
Everybody could use a
Right?
session.
Yeah.
Everybody. And at some point, we will get to that place with humanity whereby there is no stigma attached to this at all. It's the same as understanding, oh, my physical body feels a little bit off in this
Yeah.
particular area. I think I might have an imbalance there, or I might have a few parasites. I'm just going to take this natural healing herb that kills parasites. And doing this kind of work will be perceived in exactly the same way. Oh,
Right.
my energy body feels a bit off. I just feel really sad. It happened obviously because of this breakup that I've just had. I can't seem to get over it. And then straight away we'll understand, oh, okay, so you've magnetically attracted something into that area where you were feeling pain, and now we've got an entity.
Yeah.
So what would you say, since you've been doing this work, is is the best or the most interesting thing that you've experienced?
The interesting thing, the how much everybody is so heavily attacked by entities is really quite eye-opening. Um, and I just love it. I helping these lost souls back to the white light where they belong is probably the most rewarding part of this whole journey in helping others. And what I want to do is, as far as doing the SCHH, I'm in this journey with this, I want to also incorporate some of the detox specialty that I was I was wanting to go on. So I'm wanting to continue that, um, becoming a detox specialist and study iridology. I wanted to tell you about that. So iridology is a study of the iris of the eyes. And when, the eyes are the window to the soul, right? You look at somebody's eyes and you can really tell if they're a warm, loving, good person, right? I mean, my husband experienced it where some guy like went off on him and he's like looking at him. And I'm like, what happened there? What? He's like, I don't know, but I can tell you, I saw the devil. His eyes were just black and it was just nasty. So your eyes really tell you a lot. And so there's in iridology, when you look at somebody's iris of their eye, you take a good clear picture of it and you kind of like zoom in, you can see areas in the body of weak or areas in the eyes that are weaknesses in the body. So your eye is mapped out to every part of your body. So like I'll show you a picture here, see if this comes up. It's really, really quite amazing. So I don't know if you can
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
see this. Okay. So you've got your left and your right eye. And so every organ in the body is mapped out in the iris of your eye. So if you're looking at this person here, say this is somebody's eyes and they've got like dark areas, like on the bottom part of their eyes in those areas, well, that's where their kidneys are. And so as to what I want to start doing is when I have clients come in, I want them to send me pictures of their eyes so I can look at them and see where weaknesses are in their body. And then I already know where their weaknesses are, where they might have entity attachments, and see how it correlates together, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's what I want to start doing is really focus my studies on how to map out these eyes properly, know where all the weaknesses are in the body. And then when I go through the session, I can focus on those areas and if I don't find like entities, they could have trapped emotions there that need to be removed. And then, just really address a lot of healing light energy into those areas and help them heal that way. So that's what I want to do.
You've just blown my mind.
It's pretty
My
amazing.
mind's just blown.
Yeah, it's like totally cool. I just love this study. It's awesome.
I know why you would love it. That's incredible. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm going to be like that with my eyes tonight. Let's have a look.
Yeah, and it's all mapped out.
Amazing.
So so if you want to look at your eyes when you get home, so these are the pupils. Let me see if you can see this. So
Yeah, yeah.
the pupils, and then this area here would be like your stomach and your intestines, and then the way it's supposed to look with a healthy eye would look like a spoke of a bicycle, or the wheels of a bicycle. So you'd have all these lines coming out, all these little fibers that go around from the center of the eye all the way out. And if there's breaks in it, so if you see pictures of people's eyes where it kind of like looks like petals of a flower all through there, those are weaknesses in the eyes. You don't want to see those. Those are called lacunas. Those like circular things that look like petals on a flower. That means that's where a weakness is in the body, and
Wow.
it's all mapped out. It's been studied, and so it's really quite fascinating. So you want a healthy eye is one that looks like the spokes on a bicycle where the fibers are all going out straight. You want all straight lines.
So you're going to use that in conjunction with soul center healing hypnosis.
Yeah.
So your preparatory work. So
Hmm.
when your client comes for a session or you do the session online, you've already got a really, really good idea of where their problem areas are.
Yeah,
That is fascinating.
I know. It's like so cool.
Sign me up. I want one.
I would love to do a session on you.
Oh
That
my
would be
God, that's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So I'm
Um,
going to continue.
for everybody watching this as well, it's important that you all know that Dody literally has the best hypnotherapy voice you've ever heard in your entire life.
No, thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that.
True story. When I heard your voice, it brought me to tears
Mm.
because your tone, your pace, and your energy is just so wonderful. Um, you are absolutely born and made to do this work for
Oh,
sure.
thank you. Thank you. I so
A
appreciate that.
100%. And I think that uniqueness that you've brought to this is just superb. I
Thank
mean,
you.
who wouldn't be interested in that? It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is really quite fascinating. And and I had been studying it, before I found you, before, I found QHHT even. Um, that was the avenue I wanted to go. I wanted to be a detox specialist, and because it's just so fascinating. I look at people's eyes, and when I talk to somebody, I'm always looking in their eyes. I'm just like analyzing their body. Oh yeah, they probably, have got something going on, in you can tell because your right side of your body is, on the right side and the left side of the body is on the left side. And so you can know different spots. Like I can see drug deposits. I, talking to this one lady, she's got these beautiful eyes and she's got this like a little freckle looking thing. Well, that's more than likely a drug deposit. So you can see so much of what's going on in a person's eyes. And so I'm always just staring at people's eyes all the time.
Somebody once,
I just find it
s-
fascinating.
somebody once said to me, "You do all this work on camera. Your glasses are really annoying. You need to take them off. People can't see your eyes." And I used to wear contact lenses years ago, but you know when you've got young kids and you're just trying to grab an hour here and there, you haven't got time to mess around sticking contact lenses in your eye. I mean, you don't know
Yeah.
where they end up. They'll end up round the back somewhere because you haven't got a clue what day it is most days. Um, but maybe I need to start thinking about, weaning myself off the old glasses so people
I
can see
love
your
your
eyes better.
glasses, Laura. You have such cute glasses. I love them.
I only wear them to try and inject a bit of colour into my face because I'm often so tired. But that is absolutely fabulous. That is
Yeah.
really fascinating. Um, I mean, the only time I've ever heard of that is when I've gone to have my eyes tested, and sometimes the optometrist will get right the way in there, won't they? And I've
Yes.
said to them, what is it you're looking for? And he has said to me before, oh, we can often see problems with the body and the eyes, but that's the first time I've ever seen it laid out like that before. That is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
Uh, so is that something that you will offer then for everybody that's watching this that would be interested in a
Yes.
session?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I can identify weaknesses. I mean, I couldn't, I'm not, I don't have the capability, the mapping thing to map out the eye exactly, but I know general area because of, this is so detailed. This right here is so detailed. And I've got another one here that's kind of a black and white. You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it maps the central nervous system. I mean, the face, the ears, the heart, the lungs, the gallbladder. I mean, what's interesting, what I've discovered is like the gallbladder, it will just be a void. If somebody's had it removed, there'll be a void there. And I'm like interested to know, okay, so if they're missing their gallbladder and it's just this void in the eye in that little spot right there, did an entity go in? Is there an entity living in there? That's something I want to find out. That's something that just fascinates me. That's my investigation mind going. I'm always wanting to
Wow.
investigate all this stuff. Yeah. So when you have your appendix removed or your tonsils removed, has something gone in there and is taken up residence in that void that's no longer there?
Yeah. And that's very interesting because I was talking to somebody recently who for 1,000% has got a throat demon.
Yeah.
And I'm working on getting them to come and see me for a session. But they have recurrent tonsillitis and they've got no tonsils. So
Mm,
it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
right.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, you've blown my mind, literally.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it when people bring other unique things and marry it together with soul center healing hypnosis because it strengthens it.
It really does.
Yeah,
It
that
it,
is
it really
it's
does.
wonderful.
Yeah. 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 It's great. I like it.
So if people want to book a session with you, where do they need to go?
I have a website. It's quantumhealingforyoursoul.com, and my email is quantumhealingforyoursoul@gmail.com. And I do have a YouTube channel that's Quantum Healing for Your Soul and hyphen Dody Jones. So I can be found there as well.
do you work just online or do you see people face to face as well?
Well, I'm new here in Arkansas, so I don't know anybody except for my neighbors that live right next door. But if anybody wanted to have a session at home, I mean, I've got a place that I could do it. So I'm not opposed to that at all. Otherwise, yeah, I do them online.
Yeah. Absolutely fabulous. Well,
Yeah.
you have taught me something new today, and God bless you for that
Oh, thank
because
you.
I love to learn new things, and that has really excited me.
I know. I'm like so excited about that. Just it hit me one day, I'm like trying to think of, other things to do, other things to add, add another tool to my toolbox sort of thing. Because I also do angelic healing. I added an angelic healing to the end of the SCHH session, which is absolutely beautiful. I just love doing it. It's just I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's just so beautiful. So I'm like, well, I need to do something else. What can I do? And then it just hit me because that's my guides just throwing things at me, literally hitting me. And yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, why did I not think of this sooner? Of course, this makes total sense.
Yeah. So have you got any final message that you want to say to anybody that might be watching this or anybody that's watching this and thinking about studying in some of the things that you do?
Yeah, if anybody's thinking about having a session, it's do it. Those are your guides telling you. I mean, I've had to learn to listen to your guides. When you have these thoughts come in, those thoughts are there for a reason. So listen to your guides, listen to those thoughts, that gut instinct. Those are your guides talking to you. Listen to them. And so if they're thinking about having a session, have a session. There's a reason why you're thinking about having a session. There's something going on that needs to be addressed. And if studying SCHH is something that you're thinking about, again, it was brought to you for a reason, right? We're shown these things for a reason. There's something we need to get from it, something that needs to be learned or addressed. And so yeah, study it, sign up with Laura. She's fabulous. I love you,
Mm.
Laura. I'm so glad I found you. You have been just such a blessing. You were the the inspiration that I needed, and you answered a lot of questions, and everything just totally started making sense once I found you and learning about entities attached to our energetic bodies. It just the light bulb went off and everything was clear, and I finally understood everything. Like, oh my gosh, this makes total sense. This is what's going on. So thank
No,
you.
Dodie, thank you so much. Thank you for those beautiful words. And it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you today. It really,
Oh,
really has.
thank you. I have so loved this chat with you as well. Thank you.
And hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Take care, my love. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.